Hey everybody, it is the Anti-Hero. I am John Anthony Chihak Soltero, and if you know one thing about me, or if you should know one thing about me, it's that I love comic books. Collecting them, reading them, creating them. Pretty much everything about comic books I love, even the things that I don't like or hate. There's always something that can be said that's positive about comic books. For instance, I'll give credit where credit is due to Deadpool, even though I do not like the character at all. I like that people are reading. So I like that they're reading comic books, even if it's a character or creators that I don't particularly care for. Because there's something out there for everybody. And the last 2 weekends, I have been partaking in the Saturday night sales on the Comic Book Shopping Network on Facebook. There are two retailers here in town in Tucson who have a show that starts at 8 o'clock on Saturdays and goes to about 10:30, sometimes a little bit later. And that's Old Pueblo Comics and Presidio Comics. Eric and Esperanza are Presidio Comics, and Tony and Christine are Old Pueblo Comics. They've become really good friends of mine, and they always have some really cool stuff to offer. And sitting with either Christine or Esperanza while the show is going on and seeing Eric and Tony peddle their books and do different deals and the way they work with people is really, really cool. So I can't find all the books that I picked up last weekend. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff I picked up this weekend and let you know who I got them from. Some of the first stuff that I got from Old Pueblo Comics. So the way they do it is kind of round robin between the two of them. They have their camera set up. It's a live feed on Facebook's Comic Book Shopping Network, and they have all their books priced out. They do a $1 flash sale at the end, and it's the last full hour. So from like 9:30 all the way to the end of the show, every book that they have is $1. They take PayPal. You can actually go and pick the books up live at Harley's Toys and Comics, which is where they film the show. If you want to be there and you get close enough with them, you can definitely sit in with them. It's a live feed. You can comment in prices, questions. If you're looking for something in particular, they're really good about finding stuff and working with individuals. So let me just jump in and show you what I got. So from Presidio Comics, I don't know if you guys remember this series or not, but Spectacular Scarlet Spider, the Ben Reilly costume with the all-red suit and the chopped-up crop hoodie with the spider on it. My best friend from high school, Demetrius, loved the costume and the character, so I picked these up for him because he was also a backer on the latest Bubba Patrol campaign. So when I send him his books when they arrive later this week, I'll be packing these up with them as well. To go along with that was Maximum Clonage Omega. So this was the end of the Maximum Clonage series, and as you can see, it's definitely very 90s. It's a chromium cover, so it's like super shiny, and it was one of those things that like all the companies were really doing, especially Marvel, because they did a bunch of these like section spanning crossovers. So they did like Over the Edge for Punisher. They did Maximum Clonage for Spider-Man, and of course they did Age of Apocalypse for all the X-Men books. Although Age of Apocalypse did technically span the entire universe. The other books continued on, like Hulk and Avengers and Thor and Iron Man and stuff like that. It only was really talked about in the X-Men books, and then they had a couple of books that talked about what happened in the Marvel universe during that time frame. Right now, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are super, super hot. So also, I picked up an IDW Ninja Turtles #1. It does have a couple of creases and flaws in it, so it's not a mint condition book, but it's really cool because I actually had a second printing of this when it came out, and even the second printing's going for like $15. So being able to snag a #1 first print in any condition is super, super awesome. And then I also got the double-sized #50, and this was the last appearance of the Shredder. So after this, everything in New York City changes for the Ninja Turtles and all their allies. And of course, we just saw Jerrica first appear in the City of War storyline. So it's pretty cool stuff. I do have a small stack of $1 books from the flash sale that I got from Old Pueblo, but I didn't get any $1 books from Presidio. So I'm just going to go over Presidio's books that I got from him. Black Panther #3. This is the late 70s Kirby run, where he's in King Solomon's mines and he's getting the time frogs. I've read this story in trade paperback form, so it's really cool to have a number 3. And I think I have a #5, and then at the convention in New Mexico, I picked up a #2. So getting there. Probably will never own a #1 just because it's $100, and they're not as easy to come by now, and most people mark them up just because of the popularity of the character. The fact that it's some pretty legendary Kirby stuff as well, written and drawn by Jack Kirby, not just one or the other. This is a really, really cool find too. I actually tried to buy a lot off of eBay, but wasn't the highest bidder. I got outbid like within seconds, and then it just skyrocketed. This is Amazing Spider-Man 162. This is the first full appearance of Billy Russo, the Jigsaw, and it's a pretty cool cover with Punisher on a literal cable car, like shooting at Nightcrawler, Spider-Man. It's a fun series, and if you got the oversized trade paperback of Punisher versus the Marvel Universe, this was one of the stories that was included in it, including issue 161, which was the first appearance of Jigsaw. She-Hulk is getting pretty big right now, especially with her pending Marvel Disney Plus book. So this is the Hulk 2013-2014 series. This is issue #8. It's a really cool like cell phone image of She-Hulk when she's gray. I just like the cover art, if nothing else. It's pretty cool. And then this is from the Peter David, Adam Kubert run on the Incredible Hulk during the 90s, and it is a favorite of mine because there are a couple of really great covers, and the artwork in it is great. This is 459. This, if you can see, that's the Abomination way in the background, and he's obviously terrified. And it says, "Who shall fear the Green Goliath?" And that, of course, is our Incredible Hulk. And then I got this one. This is The Death of Betty Banner. This is Incredible Hulk 466. I've been on a Hulk kick lately just because I'm reading Immortal Hulk, and I really dig the story so far, 20 some odd issues in. And keeping with that, part of the $1 flash sale I was able to procure is this Incredible Hulk #400 with, again, you can see the hollow foil insertions onto the cover. This is with the Smart Hulk or Professor Hulk. I also am attempting to complete the Amalgam Universe single issue books, not Marvel versus DC specifically. So this is Doctor Strange Fate, combination of Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate when they were linked together. Old Pueblo also had Bullets and Bracelets, which was a combination of like Wonder Woman and Elektra and Punisher and somebody else, but I already have that one. Then I bought a whole bunch of Hellboy $1 books. So I got the Corpse, the 25-cent special. I love this because this was part of the very first Guillermo del Toro Hellboy book, of course, but it's such a great story. I got, and I won't show you like each individual issue, but I got Hellboy Wake the Devil 1 through 5, all of them. And then I got Hellboy the Fury 1 through 3. So I've been a fan of Hellboy for a while, especially since the movies came out and I started reading his books. I can't say that I was a fan, right from the beginning. But it's a lot of fun sitting there watching them, and so like sometimes I watch with my video streaming at the same time, but there's not really a point for me to do that because I'm right there and I can ask them questions and talk to them and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. You should check out Comic Book Shopping Network. It's Comic Book Shopping Network and then CBSN all together. On Facebook, you have to ask to be added, and then they'll go through some questions like, will you want to sell stuff? Are you just going to buy stuff? Do you want to like just get more interested in like what goes on in selling and buying comic books and stuff like that? But I just wanted to share some of the stuff that I've picked up and I've had a good experience. If even if nothing else, just seeing comics going and some of the hot stuff and variants and stuff. They also have a Campbell's Corner because they both pick up stuff from the J. Scott Campbell website. Some of the stuff they've gotten signed personally, some of it comes certified. So it's just kind of cool. And if you're into comic books, if you're into collecting, I definitely encourage you to check them out, especially for that last hour and a half, because the dollar flash sale is really cool. The last time there was some older Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. There's always stuff to help fill up gaps in your collections and your runs and stuff like that. And they'll definitely work with you. So if they're selling something and you give them a reasonable offer, they're definitely willing to accept that or meet you halfway. So I hope you guys have had an awesome Labor Day weekend. For those of you who've been working, I hope it's been well spent, but also some big news coming in about the Bubba Files and future issues of the Bubba Patrol. So I will talk to you later. Peace.